Jonty Stevens has been many characters on television and in film, but he is right now planning to go back on a UK tour with his close friend Ian Ashpatel, and together they are Morecambe and Wise in a stage show of Eric and Little Ern. Today we talk about Jonty's name, Jonty, his earlier TV career in dramas such as Midsummer Murders, Heartbeat, Silent Witness, Peaky Blinders, Hollyoaks, Life on Mars, Minder, London's Burning. The list goes on. And comedies that involve Terry and June, The Detectives with Jasper Carrott, and his extensive collaboration on sketch shows with Lenny Henry. Jonty's face is familiar through the years from his many TV parts, but he may now be more recognisable as the lovable and hilarious Eric Morecambe. And endorsed by the Morecambe family, it's now down to you to go and buy tickets and not miss out on this fantastic piece of entertainment history remade for the theatre. Welcome to Eyes and Teeth, Jonty Stevens. It's great to hear your voice.
Yeah, I'd love to hear yours.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah, yes. Well, I think you've got more than I have, actually.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, I've done my research.
Oh, dear. Hello, Steve. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks. You do make me so. You know what? When I hear you smile or laugh like you just did, I can see your face. So I can really, yeah, I can really.
That's amazing.
I'm not looking through the window. It sounds like a weird stalker, but no, I could just picture you because you do make me smile, and you've got this wonderful comedic effect in your expressions. You know, so that's what I mean. I mean it in a nice way. That's all
right. All right. No, I get it. I won't get upset.
No. So when did comedy start for a young Jonty? Did you remember the first thing that you saw on TV that made you want to be involved?
I think, yeah, to be involved. Well, I mean, I've loved comedy forever, really, since I was a little boy. And obviously my dad was a huge influence on me because he loved Laurel and Hardy.
Okay.
So obviously I used to watch that with him when I was little. I remember watching it and watching him crying with laughter, and me as well. I mean, just some of the great stuff that Laurel and Hardy did. Well, and also then you go into Morecambe and Wise, obviously, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. But, and Dad's Army and all that character-driven sort of comedy that we had in the 70s.
Yeah.
I just loved.
Brilliant. A lot of slapstick as well, you liked.
Yes, I do like a lot of slapstick. I like watching people get hurt.
Don't we all?
No, like Tom and Jerry as well.
Yeah, brilliant. I just recently, just a couple of months ago, introduced Tom and Jerry to my, not personally, because they're cartoons, but I started to put it on for my 4-year-old and my 9-year-old sit there while they're having lunch, and they love it. They love a bit of slapstick, and I started to put on a bit of Norman Wisdom and Charlie Chaplin as well. And it's
getting them young.
Yeah, there's a natural instinct in it for kids to laugh at things going wrong, and they love all that.
Well, it is, and it is that physical, especially in cartoons and stuff like that, because they can do anything they want.
Yes.
You know, when Tom, for example, swallows an ironing board, he takes on the shape of an ironing board.
Like a snake. Yeah.
Smacked in the face by an iron, his face is the shape of an iron.
I love that.
I always remember one. Poor old Tom, he's desperate to get Jerry, and he was trying to get him, and Jerry got him to swallow a piece of metal, and Jerry had a magnet on the other side of the wall, and was just like whacking him up and down, very violent. But it did make me laugh.
Oh, it's brilliant. I mean, what you've got, what you later became in your latest work, the talent that you've got has to be natural. I don't believe you can learn what you've got. And were you funny as a kid?
I always did. I was quite shy as a kid, actually, to be honest. I was quite shy sort of growing up. And then I think secondary school, you start to fight. I found my feet a bit, and I could always mimic and do sort of impressions, because Mike Yarwood was the sort of star of the television impressions, and all my impressions were sort of Mike Yarwood impressions. So I would
brilliant.
I'd do teachers and all those classic things. I would, yes. I would do impressions of people and getting people laughing in class when I shouldn't. But it's quite addictive, as you know.
Yes, yeah. I know a lot of ventriloquists, starting out. I nearly couldn't say my own word. Yeah, it seems to be like hiding behind that character as well. I was really shy as a kid, and then I became a ventriloquist, and I came out of my shell. And so, do you think acting is the same as that? Because you
absolutely, I think it is, and I think for me, you're always being somebody else, aren't you? You're never yourself.
Yes, yeah.
Whatever I do, there's an element of me, Jonty, but you're being another character, so you can disappear into that, and you can hide behind it in a way.
Sure. never delved into your name, actually. I love the name Jonty. It sounds like a... It's not a stage name, is it?
It is a
Is
stage
it?
name, yeah.
It is
It absolutely is a stage name, yeah.
Okay, how did that come about?
Well, it came about... It started at school. I'm Jonathan, really. And,
Okay.
And at school, I was called Johnny or John, and then a mate of mine started calling me Jonty, and then Jonty became the thing. So I was known as Jonty, for ages at school, and then when I had to join Equity, there was another Jonathan Stevens who was an actor, so you had to change your name. So I changed. So I thought, well, everybody knows me as Jonty anyway, so I'll do that. So that's
perfect.
how it sort of happened, really. So yeah, I've been Jonty for a long time.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. I really love the name Jonty, but I never thought it was short for Jonathan. So that's how
I think it is a name in its own right now.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a few other Jontys popping up now, I see.
Ah, okay, right. They're catching on.
There's somebody who I know follows me and Eric and Ern on Twitter, and she sent me a message. Her son's Jonty Stevens, so that's weird.
Oh,
so
wow.
Her little boy's Jonty Stevens.
Oh, that's
good
nice.
luck with that.
Another one. Good luck with Equity with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Ice and Teeth.
You've worked around comedy for decades, and maybe people don't know this about you, but I'm going back when you was a post office assistant in Terry and June. Working with Terry Scott and June Whitfield.
You have done your research.
Oh, mate, I love doing this research, and I love this about you. June Whitfield, I only met her once backstage, and she was delightful. But Terry Scott, and this was a programme I watched when I was, 10 years up. Terry and June, what do you remember that, being a post office assistant? Yeah.
I do remember it.
Because it was 40 years ago,
Yeah, years ago. I was 11.
I believe that.
Maybe not. I was I wasn't. I was in my very early 20s. I wasn't long out of drama school.
Right.
And I'd done an episode of a sitcom called Life Without George with Simon Cadell.
Yes.
He played Jeffrey Fairbrother in Heidi Hyde.
Yeah, I know that.
And a lovely actress called Carol Royal. And it was a sitcom set around these two. And I did the first episode of that, and I played like this cheeky chappy postman. I'll go round to her flat, the character's flat, and open the door. She's got like a mask on, like a sort of, a night mask.
Oh, yes.
And my first line is the cheeky poster is, "Oh, blimey, it's Lone Ranger." And I got a nice laugh. And then the producer was doing Terry and June, and he asked me to do Terry and June as this post office worker. And I thought, well, there you are. That's obviously I'm clued in for the rest of my career to play people who work in post office.
Yeah, you're going to be typecast.
It was amazing. It was the last series, I think.
Oh, was it?
Again, the last series.
Oh,
Great
brilliant.
Experience.
Nice. So maybe it's because you had that first class delivery that you got the job.
Oh.
Do
you do your own writing?
Sadly, yes, I have to. There's no one else here. So you've also acted in loads of dramas, TV and movies, but Minder to me was a sitcom, wasn't it? It was so classic and comedy driven, really.
That was a real highlight of my career. I mean, when I went up for that, I mean, Minder was such a sort of institution in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was in the reinvention of it with Gary Webster and George Cole, but Dennis had left, but this was the new sort of incarnation of the 90s. And when I got that was a huge buzz. And I remember the first day of filming, my first scene was actually in the Winchester Club. Okay. With Dave. Lovely Dave, the barman, and George and Gary, and I was so nervous. I thought, I can't believe this. I'm on set in the Winchester Club. I've watched it for so many years.
Amazing.
But yeah, that was a real treat. George Cole was an absolute delight. Absolute delight. He was so lovely and generous. As was Gary. It was a great job, and it was fun. And we did have a lot of laughs. And as you say, I think it is. There's a lot of comedy, and especially in that series when George became the dominant character, really, didn't he?
Right.
Became the main.
Yeah,
the
he
main
did.
sort of protagonist in it all, and her indoors and all that. It was brilliant.
Just lovely moments of history of television, isn't it? With Now, I have enjoyed researching, and you may be surprised that I have done a little bit of homework, but I've seen a couple of lovely clips of you in the last 24 hours on the Lenny Henry show. You first done the pilot for the show, didn't you? In the Nathan Gunn sketch, I saw this lovely, where Lenny plays the gangster, and you play like a driver for him, don't you? And
well, basically what it is, it was Lenny's view of Shaft. What would happen if the similar Shaft character like Richard Roundtree, if you remember that series of films?
Yeah.
In America, he comes over and he helps the Metropolitan Police to sort of nail down some Cockney villains. And of course, Lenny's view of that was very funny, and I was like, my character encapsulated, I think, all the sort of Sweeney,
very
Minder, all those sort of 70s characters, and he was like this mad sort of American, like Richard Roundtree, like Shaft character. And it's like, I remember one scene we did where he sort of went, well, where are we going? I said, come on, mate, we just got to go through town. And as we walk through town, it suddenly turns into a Dickensian scene with like children with hoops and people cooking horse chestnuts. It was very funny. Yeah, we did a whole series of those. Yeah, the whole series.
It's brilliant. There was in '95 you played a baddie to Lenny's Trevor McDonald, and you were James Bond. There's some really lovely sketches in the show, and there's a lot on YouTube that people can enjoy.
Yeah, Trevor McDonald.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Oh, he was so good, wasn't he?
Yeah, I know. I've got it. I remember it really vividly. I mean, Lenny was a joy to work with. We had a real laugh because I'm from the Midlands as well, and he's from West Brom. So my mum's from Wolverhampton, so we had a lot in common. No, it was great fun. And see, Lenny now, he used to take the mick out of me being a lovey. So you blooming lovers. And now he's, look at him now. It's amazing.
Oh, amazing. I know. Macbeth. Yeah, all of that. It's gone the other way. That's not. I read his biography recently. It's a lovely, lovely book. First of many, apparently.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. You know what he's done in his career and how he sort of developed, and that brilliant screenplay he wrote for the television. Did you see his life story really of how he started off?
Oh, brilliant! Yeah,
it was amazing. It was really amazing. Amazing as a young black man, sort of struggling to become successful and what he had to deal with. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah,
there, but it was very, very moving and very informative. I think
it was. There was a lot we didn't know about Lenny back then. We didn't know he was suffering, and he'd done New Faces as a 16-year-old and won New Faces, and then he struggled all through that time. But then he was, he worked with Keith Harris in Panto and Summer Seasons. I can't believe I didn't know that he'd done all of the mainstream variety shows and black and white minstrels and all that stuff. And then
imagine that. I mean, just awful, really. But he's come through it, thankfully. He's been very responsible for inclusivity for black people in the entertainment industry. He's been a real torch bearer, and I think he continues to be so,
Yeah, a lot of people look up to him, bless him. And I did meet him once at Stage Door, and he was a wonderful. He gave me 20 minutes, because he knew I was a young ventriloquist, and he wanted to talk to me and give me advice. So I agree with you. He's a lovely guy.
Oh, conversational.
It's very funny for me doing an interview without Ian, if I'm honest, because
is it?
Keep expecting him to join in.
It's a bit like me. I got my right hand up in the air because I feel the same. I feel like I should have half a lager.
You're going to do one with him, aren't you?
Yeah, I wanted to get you separately because you are separately very talented people separately, and you've had careers before you got to this fantastic success.
Apparently.
Yes. Well, no, you have. And All About Me, I loved watching that with Jasper Carrott. I didn't watch it with him, he was in it. And you're in that as well with Mira Sayal and Nina Wadia, Richard Lumsden.
Yes.
Lovely comedy faces and names, aren't they?
Yeah, Jasper was a sort of comedy hero of mine anyway. Growing up in the Midlands, I mean, Jasper was just amazing to work with, really. And so, I mean, I remember going to see him live when I was a kid, and you remember when he did Funky Moped? Well, the B-side was Magic Roundabout of that record, which really sold it.
Right, those albums, yeah.
Yeah, but it was the single, and he was on top of the pops, and we all loved him.
Yes.
And then I was lucky enough, I first met him when I did an episode of The Detectives that he did with Robert Powell.
Okay, right, I remember that.
Yeah, so I did an episode of that. I played a dodgy sort of one of their rivals in the Met Police. I mean, I still love The Detectives, which started off as a little 5-minute sketch in Jasper's show.
Yeah.
And then became a whole full-blown series. So that's when I first met Jasper. And, he was a Birmingham City supporter, as I am, unfortunately. I'm very depressed at the moment, but we won't talk about that, about the football. But
you best not. I know nothing about it, but...
Yeah, well, neither did Birmingham City, let me tell you.
Oh.
But Jasper and I, we became close to that, and then I did All About Me with him, which he didn't realise I was actually going up for, so that was funny.
Oh, wow.
When I told him. Yeah, so
Just turned up.
That was terrific, and I can't speak highly enough of Jasper. He's been a very good friend and colleague over the years. He's a fantastic guy, a lovely man, and hilarious. Like him and Billy Connolly, I think at that time. I mean, Billy Connolly,
yeah.
they were like the sort of godfathers of alternative comedy. They started,
Definitely, the masters.
They stopped sort of telling jokes. They told stories and and talked about characters that we could all relate to. You know, they sort of changed
real life people. And Dave Allen. Dave Allen was the same, wasn't he? And,
yeah. Oh God, I love Dave Allen.
Yeah,
love Dave Allen.
Storytellers. That's fantastic.
Exactly. I used to love it when he used to do the ones the lights used to drop down and he always tell a slight horror story and the lights would go down and there'd be like the wind. Yeah, very funny, very funny.
So I loved Golden Balls actually with Jasper Carrot. You know, with Golden Balls.
He did that as well, game show. Yeah,
I loved it. I watched the reruns recently actually because I said to Nina, I really miss that Golden Balls, and we found loads of. And you watch the clips at the end. You know when.
Something you say every day, is it? I really love those Golden Balls.
Oh, well, she said that to me when we started dating, but then it changed.
Oh, controversial.
Your career, though, you've been so busy over the years. Love and Marriage,
yes.
Life on Mars, EastEnders, The Bill, The Doctors. A lot of actors have done The Bill, haven't they? Quite a lot of.
Yeah.
That's like an audition into other programs, isn't it? Everyone has to do The Bill before.
You got to do The Bill. I mean, if you're lucky enough. I mean, The Bill, Heartbeat, EastEnders.
Holby City,
Emmerdale, all those serial dramas, Casualty, Holby.
Yeah,
they sort of kept you going as an actor really because there were so many sort of series being made.
Yes,
so there's not so many now. You know, it's much harder, I think now. But yeah, I mean, they were the staple diet. You'd go in one series, play a copper, and then 18 months later, you could go and do another one and be a villain. You know, it was
it's
like
incredible though. Yeah, it must be exciting to get a new part, and you know, I'm going to play another postman, or I'm going to be a villain or policeman, but they are different. You know, they're different. It's like doing panto, isn't it? You're going for a different part every time, but it must be fun learning new scripts. Do you love sort of bit parts like that?
Yeah. I mean, playing somebody different and different people. That's what it's all about. That's what keeps you going.
Yeah.
And especially with things like The Bill. I mean, it is hilarious. You think about it. First you were a copper, and then 2 years later you might go and be the villain.
Same actor.
Played a lot of policemen, thankfully, because there was a lot of police drama made.
Yeah, there was. Yeah,
it really was. I almost had my own uniform.
Actually, first time I saw you in Edinburgh, I ran because I thought you was a copper. I thought I know him.
Yeah, exactly. I arrested you.
You
ventriloquism.
On the radio.
On the radio,
yeah.
See your lips.
Yeah. Speaking of that, you've done voiceover work as well. The Adventures of a Bottle Top Bill and his best friend Corky.
You've got everything, haven't you? Yeah, Bottle Top Bill. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, was it a cartoon? Was it a cartoon series? Wasn't it?
Yeah. It was on Channel 5 Milkshake. Yeah, I voiced Bottle Top Bill.
Oh, wow.
Miranda Richardson voiced Corky. I mean, Miranda Richardson's a fantastic actor. So weird because you never meet these people. Bottle Top Bill, yeah, that was amazing. The animation on that was, it started off in Australia, and I did obviously the British version. And it started off, and it was stop frame animation, so it's like a bit like Aardman in the sense that what you would see would be physically like, they go, oh look, there's Bottle Top Bill, go, oh look, there's a sheep coming over the brow of the hill. And as you'd see it, these sheep would come over and they sort of be made out of pipe cleaners, a little bit of cotton wool, and you sort of see them actually being created as they come before the scene starts.
That's interesting.
Very interesting way.
Yeah.
Very interesting way of animating it. And it all used like household things to make all the characters. Like Bottle Top Bill was a bottle top, a button, pipe cleaners, and a couple of things. And
that's very inventive.
Out of all sort of other bits of household stuff around. So it was sort of a green and recycling was a big thing about it, but it was sort of inherent in it. It was subliminal. It wasn't sort of telling you to recycle. It's just everything was made out of stuff.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, it's sort of. I wish I'd have watched that at the beginning of lockdown because we could have had lots of fun making little movies and stuff around the house. You know, with the kids. You know,
exactly.
Because that's what it's about. But it's being creative and things.
Yeah, definitely keeping you sane.
Ice and Teeth.
I saw this brilliant piece just a couple of years ago. It was a musical made for a 1 hour special on television in front of a live audience, I believe, called The Entire Universe. That was just brilliant. That was I remember because I'd met you beforehand, so I knew you were going to be on it. But Eric Idle wrote this piece, didn't he, with Brian Cox and Robin Ince?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a very long story.
Right.
Eric Idle's story that I could briefly touch on if you wanted. I mean, when I was growing up in the village in Warwickshire, Eric Idle's mum was health visitor to my mum when I was born. She lived down the lane, Eric Idle's mum.
Okay.
So I met Eric when I was a little boy a few times, and then obviously went on to huge success in Monty Python and whatever. And then I bumped into him. This all sounds very glam, doesn't it? When I was in Los Angeles doing a play
Okay.
with the Shakespeare's Globe, and
Wow.
I sort of went up to him and mentioned the village that we were born and brought up in. So his jaw dropped, and I said, "You might remember my mum and dad." Of course, he remembered my mum and dad. So I've got a real connection.
That's
A
amazing.
real family connection with Eric. And then he saw the show in the West End, Eric and Little Ern, and that prompted him to sort of write us into the entire universe of Morecambe and Wise, because he loved me and Ian so much. He gave us that. So it's amazing, really amazing story.
Oh, that is lovely. It's such a brilliant, very clever piece, isn't it? That
It's
universe.
amazing. All the science in it, and
Very funny.
the music with Jonty, did spam a lot with Eric as well. I mean, so much talent.
Yeah.
And we were on as well.
Yeah, it was so nice. And so you were born in Wolverhampton, is that right?
No, well, my mum was born in Wolverhampton. I'm a Warwickshire boy.
Okay, Warwickshire,
So I
yeah.
grew up in Warwickshire and went to drama school in Birmingham. So I'm the Midlands really.
Yeah, I worked at the Wolverhampton Grand with the wonderful Ken Dodd. I'd done a couple of shows there.
Amazing.
Such a wonderful... And it was always full house when I worked with Ken, so it was so nice to play full houses with him.
Oh, amazing working with Ken Dodd. That's a real...
Yeah, I had an
What a treat.
amazing 3 years with him.
That was just one show, one night.
That
3
was
years, 'cause
two. That was
he
2
did a lot of
nights.
it, didn't he?
It was good because he had to have an interval. So it was just wonderful to work with him. But it's because of Ken Dodd that I got to work these wonderful theatres. Did you work around the area of Birmingham? Because I've done the Birmingham Hippodrome as well, and those venues are incredible, aren't they? They're so beautiful
Beautiful
to work.
theatres. I mean, my first acting job was at the Birmingham Rep, which is their newer theatre on Broad Street.
Yes.
That was my first ever acting job, was at the Birmingham Rep, so that was a real thrill.
Oh,
And,
nice.
obviously, I had a bus load from the village come and see everything. I mean, it's amazing, really. All my relatives, all the friends of the family from the village, they'd all turn up to see. I remember we did Treasure Island at the Birmingham Rep musical version with Jack Douglas was Long John Silver, actually, and Bob Grant was in it from on the buses.
Wonderful.
So that was one of my first jobs, and we had a whole shower bang. I think I had 60 people come and see, which was amazing.
That's a nice big group. Wow.
Yeah.
You can only have 6 these days. Yeah. Oh, that's mad. So you probably still are actually 2 years older than Ian. It must be fate that you were drawn together because you were different ages, really. But how long was it until you started to get to know each other? And
We went to drama school.
Drama, okay.
In the 80s, I'm actually younger than Ian, but I was 2 years ahead of him at drama school.
Ah.
When I was in my final year, he was in his first year.
Oh, I see.
And
Oh, that's
we met,
confusing.
And we just sort of hit it off, Ian and I. We both laughed at the same things. We both loved our sport. We both loved our comedy. And we became really good mates from the off, really.
Yeah. Did you naturally
We
banter?
laughed at the same things.
Okay.
I mean, and yeah, we always, and even when we left drama school, we always kept in touch. And if we hadn't seen each other, it didn't matter. It was one of those friendships where you just pick up where you left off.
Yeah.
It really is.
Brilliant. Yeah, you were a fan of Morecambe and Wise already, and you read everything on them, hadn't you, at the time? So not only were you both mates, but the uncanny imagery of your faces and the heights between you as well is so surreal to what's ended up happening. But did you both one day look at each other and say, you look like Eric and you look like Ernie? Because if you both look like Sid Little and Eddie Large, it could have been a completely different show, couldn't it?
Very different. No, I mean, I'd always been a massive Morecambe and Wise fan, and Ian was a fan as well, but I was a bit of an anorak, I mean, I really was a bit obsessed with them and reading books about them and everything. And Ian and I were asked at the Stage Golfing Society, I was asked to do Eric because then I did my impressions. I said, well, I need an Ern. And I looked at the bar and there was Ian with his little short fat hair legs, and I thought he'll do. And he said, I look nothing like Ernie. I said, well, you do a bit. And anyway, we did a 5-minute sketch first. And then that was 12 years ago, probably initially.
Wow.
And then we got asked to do it again at another Stage Golfing Society.
Okay.
And then next time we asked to do it, we thought, well, we'll write something about the audience we were playing, like the local, we were doing it at a golf course, and we found out about the captain and skipper, like interwove all their sort of personal little stories into the material as Eric and Ern, and also some of the classic Bring Me Sunshine and some of the classic material we did, and it's sort of, we thought we'd do 10 minutes, we ended up doing 20, and then they said, go back on, everybody's standing up, and then that's the time when people went, you've got to do something.
Yeah.
And that's when we decided to do the play, Eric and Little Ern, and took it to Edinburgh, and Fringe in 2013, then ended up suddenly going well there and in the West End, and Olivier nominated, and it's just been mad ever since.
That's incredible. Now, did you and Ian sit down and watch their shows together? Did you study every move? How did you perfect the parts? Yeah, you did.
We watched hours and hours and hours of it. I mean, watched together and separately, and rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed, and so that it becomes. I mean, to be honest, Ian is absolutely superb. I mean, Eric's an easier sort of angle, really, but I think what Ian's done with Ernie is exceptional. I mean, but somebody said to me, yeah, you're good, but I'm sorry, but Ian, I mean, yeah, all right, no, but it's true. It's extraordinary. He gets his voice and his little mannerisms, and he's got short, fat, hairy legs. What more can I say? No, he's amazing. Without him, we wouldn't be where we are.
Yeah.
Really.
Oh, that's it. It's so incredible. I love this story. I really do. You've got some lovely quotes out there as well. I'm going to quote one. I never thought I would see Morecambe and Wise live, but I think I just have. Ben Elton. So a lot of people have come back to see you that loved and grew up with Morecambe and Wise. So really big names used to come see you as well. And so how does that make you feel that people come and see? Not only are they coming to see Morecambe and Wise, but they are coming to see your work. Depicting these guys.
I think the greatest gift is that we are portraying Morecambe and Wise. There will never be another Morecambe and Wise. We just want to try and shine a light on their talents and represent them in the best way we possibly can, that take people back when they come to see it to simpler and happy times. And hopefully we'll be able to do that again if we get the theatres open and get the vaccine sorted and everything. But it's amazing to think that people who've worked with Eric and Ern come and see us and say very kind things. I mean, that's a huge thrill, and
that's nice.
We're very grateful. We're very grateful that they think we're okay. We've got away with it.
You haven't just got away with it. You've mastered it. I first saw Eric and Little Ern in Edinburgh Festival. It was a sellout, and I'm so glad I pre-booked the tickets because I wouldn't have got in. So me and my mate come to see you. I was so pleased I got there. I watched about 20 shows that week, and yours was undoubtedly the best of that week that I was there. You took us back to our childhoods, and people were crying at the end of the show as well. But
it's a shame, really, because it's supposed to be a comedy, but there you go. No,
it's these emotions.
I think it does take people back.
Yes.
And it takes people back to, my dad loved you, or my granddad loved you, or we get people saying when we do the shows, people go up to me and saying, oh, you look just like my dad, or they say there's a whole emotional connection to Eric and Ern that is quite unique. They weren't like, they were loved by people, and we're lucky to get a bit of that love, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And it's so clean cut as well. It is true Morecambe and Wise. So you can sit down with the family and watch the Christmas show. And families can come and watch your show, so you're not capping it. So you're not adding some naughty jokes just to entertain the adults.
Yeah, not at all, and nor would we, because that's not what we want. We want to represent Eric and Ern in the right way and do it how they would have done it, And
yes.
there's never any way that we would do that. No.
Because when I was probably in my 20s, Keith Harris said to me, Steve, we've got a little bit of magic, because we can go out and do adult shows if you want to, but we can also entertain 3-year-olds sat to 103-year-olds. So we can entertain the family, and that's what your show can do as well. So, if people are out there, you want them all to come. You want the children to be laughing with their grandparents, don't you?
Exactly. I mean, that's the thrill, really. Ian and I often say, Ian say, oh, did you see that little boy, with his grandparents just looking at him as he's laughing at what we were doing, the paper bag trick or something like that, which of course is a real thrill for them if you've seen it for the first time. Of course, it's one of the biggest sort of jokes that Eric and Ern used to do was the paper bag trick. But of course, for younger people, this is all new. Some of the material we're doing is new. So it's being laughed at for the first time again, which is a real thrill.
It's magical, isn't it, just to see that? Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
you do all of the classic sketches and the anecdotes, you know, and the right words not necessarily in the right order. All of these classics are in there, but people are anticipating that, aren't they? They're waiting for this, even though they know what's coming. They listen and they laugh and then they applaud, and you get big cheers for doing these famous routines. That's
You do. I mean, it doesn't. People know what's coming, but it doesn't seem to hinder it at all. In fact, it makes it a bigger thing.
Yeah.
Playing all the right notes, not necessarily in the right order. I mean, when you do that I had one. I just paused before I said it when I grabbed Ian as Ernie. And he said, "You're playing all the wrong notes." So I grabbed him by the lapels and I was just about to launch into it. Some bloke shouted to the audience, "Go on, say it!" And I said, "I will." And I said, "You're playing all the right notes, but not necessarily in the right order." And it does. People cheer.
Oh, it brings the house down. Do you sometimes milk it? Because they know it's coming, you know it's coming, but do you sometimes have a little...
Never.
No.
Never milk. Well, maybe. No, I don't know.
It's pure brilliance. They were so close, Morecambe-wise, weren't they? But you and Ian are so close as well. It's mirroring their relationship completely.
Well, I think that's the key to it. And Ian and I always say, if you've got to have, Eric and Ernie were closer than brothers, and I think Ian and I are really. We are. I mean, we've seen more each other. This is the most we haven't seen each other for all this time. Well, we've spoken obviously during lockdown, but I mean, we've spent more time with each other than we do with our wives and partners. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And families. I mean, it's like a marriage, really. But,
Yeah.
you know, and you have to work at it with different people, but that's what makes it special. Is that relationship that we've got, that friendship, and
Definitely.
that trust.
Yeah, but we can see that. We can see that as an audience. When you're up there, we can tell that you love each other like brothers. We can see it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's incredible, really. I mean, what you know, to be on stage with him and having fun. You know, we miss it. We really do.
Yeah, I'm sure you do, because it gets into your blood, doesn't it? This.
I miss the money.
Cool, we all miss the money.
It'd be nice to earn some money, wouldn't it?
What's that?
Do you remember that?
No, I don't. I mean, my dummies have been earning more than me recently, because I've just been lending. Yeah. A unique opportunity came up when you were exclusively booked on the P&O Britannia cruise in their cabaret venue. It's such a traditional dinner and cabaret experience. Is this something that you've loved? Because it's something really that's not been done before, bringing on a production like that and putting it into a cabaret scenario. It's such a lovely, like a reinvention, you know, and taking it to sea.
It's going back to the old supper clubs in the 60s in London, like after the theatres, you know, they would go to have dinner and you would have a show, and sometimes you'd have like the big acts from the West End shows would do a little turn as well, and people would be having dinner.
Yeah.
So they had big stars doing it as well.
Yeah, Dudley Moore or something.
Exactly. So the whole thing of the Limelight Club of Britannia, when we got asked to do that, we thought, I don't know whether it would work, because, you know, initially the show you saw was sort of a play which is about their relationship, and then we were taking that apart and just saying we're going to be them. You know, just say, accept us as this isn't Eric and Little Ern, this is an evening of Eric, this is Eric and Ern, here we are. And, you know, and then we got asked to do that, and we were very nervous, but fortunately it worked, and it's lovely with the intimacy of the people at the dinner tables. You can see right into their eyes, and you can see them nodding off. No, but, you know, you can have a very close, intimate relationship with the audience, and actually see the whites of their eyes when you're about to deliver a line or give them a look or whatever. So it's a great experience, that was.
Yeah, it was brilliant to watch. I
hope we'll get back to it, maybe.
Oh yeah, I hope so. It is a lovely ship. I do love those big ships in Ventura, but Britannia with the Limelight it's a lovely.
That's the only one we did for P&O. We just did the Limelight, so it was a lovely atmosphere and a lovely place to work.
Yeah, I saw you one night. I was standing at the back with Tucker watching you. It's such a winning formula. Yeah, I remember you talking about one time. We were talking about the vent sketch that Morecambe Wise did in Croydon, you know, and then I've got it on VHS. I can see it in front of me now. I've got all my videos out ready to go through and throw away, but I need to keep some. It's Eric and Ernie live, and that they've done this great ventriloquist sketch. And when I mentioned it to you, I think some cogs were going around in your head, and I had a text message a few weeks later saying, "Have you got a dummy?" So I felt it was like we took on a foreign exchange of one of my ventriloquist dolls, didn't we?
You posted handed him to me, and I remember saying, I said, will he be all right in the pot? Will he actually pay? And you said, yeah, don't worry, I'll put some air holes in.
Speaking of the foreign exchange, I'm still waiting for that 21-year-old French girl to turn up, but it's not happened. I guess she's in lockdown. No, the third time I saw you was I finally got to see the vent sketch, and I literally I was welling up because it was like my little wooden son that I never had, But it was the Christmas version of the show in Chichester Festival Theatre. It was magical, absolutely. And I personally...
That's one of our favourite bits to do.
Oh, wasn't it great?
We just love that. We just love that sketch. And we love Kenny, although we call him Charlie.
Yeah, you changed it. That's his stage name, Charlie, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, we call him Kenny in private, but on stage we call him Charlie. When I'm just speaking to him normally in the green room, he's always Charlie. He's always Kenny. Don't worry about that. But so we very luckily got permission from the family to do that in the Morecambe Wise estate, because obviously we deal very closely with them.
Yes.
For them to approve and like what we're doing, and that's very important to Ian and I that we've got that relationship with them, and we're lucky enough to have got to come close, over the years to Gail Morecambe and Gary Morecambe, Gary's children.
Yeah.
I met Joan and been to the house. I mean, it's extraordinary, really.
Oh, amazing.
So yeah, the Vent Act. Yes, thank you for Kenny. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing it.
I really advise people not just come and see Kenny, but to come and see the whole Eric and Little Ern as soon as you're back on the road. I mean, are there dates that you keep moving? Because I've moved a tour 3 times now. Are you?
Yeah, we're going to be talking again this week. Yeah, we're sort of going and then not going and then going, but hopefully, there's a lot depends on obviously the vaccine and when the theatre's going to be opening up again and how many people could come and see us. There's so many factors, but yes, we are planning. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Brilliant. We'll be waiting. I'll make sure I post your website and everything on here so people can keep updated and start booking their tickets.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it was so nice to see. Have you done any Zoom pieces, or you say you just had conversations with Ian, but you've not done anything as the double act over the last year? We haven't. We
thought we had discussions about it.
Yeah,
but it wasn't the right thing to do. It's funny, isn't it? It's got to be the right thing, I think, for
yes
to do. And we've sort of explored it. Who knows? We might do if this keeps going. We might do.
Yeah,
but it has to be the right. It has to be the right thing.
I wrote a piece about Arthur Largo, and I've written a piece around his life. So I've got an hour show that I started last year and stopped. And so it's all about his life. I've got 5 different puppets that is Arthur in different stages. And so it's so it's getting.
Well, that sounds brilliant. I love Arthur. He makes me laugh. He's a naughty boy.
He's very naughty, very naughty.
Yeah, but he's very funny.
June Whitfield said that backstage. She said, because I took Arthur out for a photo, and she said, "Arthur, you're a naughty boy." That's all I remember June Whitfield saying. She never spoke to me, but he's very naughty, and people remember that.
It's a great relationship you've got through him. He can say some very naughty things, can't he?
He can do. And I've got another 35 years until I catch up with his age, so I can do this. But we'll end up looking like twins, when I'm older. That's strange, isn't it?
Yeah, very strange.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jonty Stevens. It's been wonderful getting to know more about you and let the people know that you're not only fantastic Eric Morecambe, but you've delighted us for years in all these comedy shows that people didn't know about. But you were there all the time. You were brilliant.
All the time. I've worked with them all.
Yeah, brilliant comedy actor, serious actor, funny man naturally, and genuinely a lovely human being.
And the check's in the post.
Thank you so much, Jonty.
Yeah, you're a great man. You're a great man. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
Cheers.
Ice and Steve.
Thank you, Jonty. What a story and what a show. And the thing about this production is that although I've seen it 3 times, I can't wait to see it again. It's something you have to see in a theatre. Check out Jonty on Facebook as Jonty Stevens or Twitter at Jonty Stevens. And for the updates on the latest tours and events, go to Jonty and Ian's website at www.ericandlittleern.co.uk. Today's comedy quote comes from Dave Allen. We spend our lives on the run. We get up by the clock, eat and sleep by the clock, get up again, go to work, then we retire. And what do they give us? A bloody clock. Eyes and Teeth is written, produced and hosted by Steve Hewlett. Vocals by Lola, Larissa and Nina Hewlett. Additional vocals by Rich T. The Eyes and Teeth music and jingles are all produced and performed by Kevin Dean. We end Season 7 Funny for Money on a 40 years anniversary, celebrating a national treasure that includes one of the most recognisable laughs in British sitcom, when I talk to the brilliant Boise from Only Fools and Horses, aka John Chalice.